topic. Have you heard about PEP8? Have you heard about what is PEP8 so far? Anyone? Gangubai, Pavitra, Srinivas. What is PEP8? Have you heard about it? So PEP stands for Python Enhancement Proposal. Python Enhancement Proposal, it mainly talks about how to write programming, how to write very good programs. So that means especially it talks about naming and coding conventions. Say for example, when you write a program, you select a name of a class, you select name of the variables, functions, constants, and so on. So what is the basis for selecting those names, and in what manner you can select the names, and what are the possible alternatives? So those are some of the things that you can study as part of PEP8. So PEP is nothing but Python Enhancement Proposal. So today we'll play one video as part of learning that PEP8. See students, this PEP8 is very much essential, especially when you put your resume on Python. If you are preparing your resume based upon your Python programming skills, then obviously you may have to know what is PEP8. Okay, that is going to be very crucial, especially when you are preparing your resume based upon PEP8. So 1 minute, just I'll share my screen. Okay, tell me if you can listen to this video. Students, whether the audio you can hear, you can, is it clear?
No, sir.
No, oh, 1 minute, I'll change the settings then. I'll change the audio settings. Microphone. Okay, 1 minute. Now you tell me. YouTube audio is you can whether
No, sir.
this audio, YouTube audio?
No, sir.
No.
In detail. Now, I've summarized the multiple components that need to be discussed under the Python enhancement proposal. Now, there's a saying said by Guido van Rossum saying that code is read much more often than it is written. That's true because we write code once and then we read it thrice. So the readability is very essential here. We need to make our code highly readable. Now, what are the components that need to be discussed under the Python enhancement proposal? The very first one is naming convention. The second is indentations in Python. The third is code layout. The fourth one is comments. I'll be coming up with multiple videos on these sections. This video is closely discussed about naming conventions. Now, types and naming conventions. There are multiple types out there in Python code. And how do we name them using this standard called naming conventions? The first one is function. The second is variable. You have class, you have method, you have constant, you have module, you have package. So there are multiple types are there in Python code where each and every type need to be assigned with a proposal, the version of this proposal. I've affixed a link on the slide where you can gain more insight about the detailed definitions of each and every proposals that's been defined in this PEP. I've also added this link on the video description. You can make use of that in order to read the documentation in detail. Now, I've summarized the multiple components that need to be discussed under the Python enhancement proposal. Now, there's a saying said by Guido van Rossum saying that code is read much more often than it is written. That's true, because we write code once and then we read it thrice. So the readability is very essential here. We need to make our code highly readable. Now, what are the components that need to be discussed under the Python enhancement proposal? The very first one is naming convention. The second is indentations in Python. The third is code layout. The fourth one is comments. I'll be coming up with multiple videos on these sections. This video is closely discussed about naming conventions. Now, types and naming conventions. There are multiple types out there in Python code. And how do we name them using this standard called naming conventions? The first one is function. The second is variable. You have class, you have method, you have constant, you have module, you have package. So there are multiple types are there in Python code where each and every type need to be assigned with a name so that you can invoke that type whenever needed with that name. So when we come to the readability, we need to ensure the names are provided in a proper standard, and that's called as your naming convention standard. Now, the first thing is all about the camel case standard. In the camel case, you might have multiple words to be represented in a name. In that first word, all letters will be in lowercase. The subsequent words in that name will have its first character in caps. Then we have a Pascal case. In Pascal case, which is most similar to camel case, means it's more identical to camel case, you might have multiple words in representing the type name. All the words, first character will be in caps. Then the last one is a snake case. Snake case is entirely different from the camel case and Pascal case. Where here too, you will have multiple words to be represented for a type name. For example, a function name or a variable name can carry multiple words in it, but each and every word have to be separated with an underscore. But they will not follow the standards of Pascal case or a camel case in order to highlight its first character in caps. Please be noted that every word will be separated by underscore, but none of the word first characters will be represented in caps. And that's what is all about the snake cases. Now we will see more in detail demonstration on how to apply these standards in the different types like functions, variables, classes, etc. The first one we need to discuss about is variables. Usually variables will follow the snake case, but sometimes they do follow with the camel case. Developers used to follow even a camel case. Still there is a debate going on, but the standard says you can either use a snake case standard or you can use a camel case standard. But it's good to maintain a single flow of standard. So here I'm going to discuss about the snake case because I'm frequently going to use only the snake case standards throughout my course for variable namings and as well as for function namings. So how a variable name snake case would look like. If it's a single word, it's fine. You can declare it like age equals 10, completely in lowercase, or you can have two words in it, employee separated with underscore and another word called age, and then you can initialize a value to that variable. So this becomes your variable snake case. What about function? Function will also follow the same standard of a snake case naming standard. So I can define a function called, let's say, add. So this is a single word. So you can define a function like this. And you can use the keyword called pass in order to mention that this function has no statements in it. It's an empty function. Okay, the pass keyword is just to leave the function empty. Now it's again going to follow the snake case standard. Now coming to this multiple words in the function name, we can use define and say I have a function name called calculate mean and median. So now this becomes a snake case standard. But if I remove this underscore specifically or intentionally, you can see it's not readable. The name of this function is not highly readable. So it's good that if we have an underscore here. So by this way, universally, the Python developers can understand that this name is nothing but a function name. Somewhere the developer comes to read the name alone, not the complete function. He is just going to read the name. By looking at the template of that naming standard, he can quickly understand that this is going to be a function name, or this is going to be a variable name. So he can have that standard of understanding that it's a universal representation of standards being followed by the Python code developer. Now, variables and functions will fall under your snake case. The next one is class. Class will follow your Pascal case standard. So how a Pascal case standard would look like. So I have a class called full-time employee. Okay. And here again, I'm going to use the keyword called pass, representing that this class is an empty class. Now, if you look at it, again, the name is not highly readable. The reason is we are not following certain naming standards here. So how do we define a class name? You can mark the first word, first character in caps. The second word, first character in caps. And again, the third word, first character in caps. Now, this standard of representing a name will be identified as a class name quickly by the developer universally, right? So this is called as your Pascal case standard, where you will not separate your words with underscore here ever. Okay, you're going to just use the name without underscore, but every word first character should be of uppercase standard. Now coming to the method will also be of snake case. So again, I have a class called part-time employee. And here I'm not going to leave this class as an empty class. Instead, I'm going to define a method. Method and function resemble same. If it's a standalone function, means a function is not embraced with the class, but methods will be there inside the class. That's why we define the term as a method. So any function that sits inside a class will be considered as a method. This method naming standard will also follow the same snake case standard. So here I'm going to use a function called partial salary. So I have a function like this, which is defined inside the class, and I'm going to leave this function deliberately empty, and this carries an parameter of self. We'll discuss about these template a bit later, but right now I'm talking about the name of that method. Now again, this name seems to be unreadable. So we have to separate the two words with an underscore so that we follow the standard of snake case here too. So your method also follows the snake case standard. Okay, similar like your function and a variable, a method which is embraced inside a class will also follow its naming standard for its name as snake case standard. Okay, so snake case is pretty much widely used in many places in Python. The next one is constant. So coming to the constant, all words will be of uppercase, followed with the snake case template or a format. For example, I want to declare a pi value. Okay, so I can say pi, pi, completely in caps. So 3.14 is the value representation for pi. So P and I word, I'm sorry, the character is completely capitalized. Now, if it's coming up with multiple word statements in constant, we can do have the uppercase standard followed with the snake case format. So constant 5 equals 3.14. Now, if you look at this, again, the constant name doesn't seem to be highly readable. So what we have to do now here? Quickly, we have to add an underscore so that it's highly readable and it becomes highly readable. And also we follow the snake case here, but all letters in the word will be of capitalized. So that's how we represent a constant. So constant means a value cannot be changed further. So pi value is 3.14, which is always constant. So you cannot change the value, right? Now, so this is one standard way of representing a constant in Python by following the naming standard of uppercase with snake case format. The next is module. So module is nothing but a Python file name. You will have one file created for a Python and you will give a name for it, and that name also to be followed with a standard. And what is the standard that we are going to follow? A short name. You can have multiple words, but let it be short, not lengthy name. Okay. So for example, I'm going to have a name called module.py. So that seems to be pretty small, right? Or if in case you want to have a module file, module, and here you are supposed to use underscore and then use file.py. So your Python file naming standard will be like this. You will have your names completely in lowercase and ensure you have a short word, and each and every word have to be separated with underscore. Then you have a package naming standard. In package, you will be using multiple words. When I'm using multiple words, let's say package is a single word, that's fine. So package is nothing but a folder where you will place all your modules, means all your Python files, right? In Java also we have a package, we import the package. Here also we import the package. So packages are nothing but a group of modules. Package contains a group of module. So we need to give a name for the package, means we are giving a name for the folder. So what the folder name will be, a package itself. It's a short word and it should be in lowercase. If you have multiple words for the package, means whenever I say package, I represent the folder. Now, when I have a multiple words for the folder, let's say I have new package, you will not separate them with underscore. These are folder names, these are package names. So you will not separate them with underscore, no capitalization of the first character. So you will not follow any of the standard. Straight away, you just mention it as a new package. Do not separate words by underscore when it comes to the package naming. The naming standard for the packages, make it short, and it should be 100% lowercase in words, but you will not separate multiple words with underscore. But modules, short, 100% lowercase words, and each and every word in the module have to be separated with underscore. So with this, I end the note of the naming conventions in Python enhancement proposal. In the next video, I'm going to discuss about the indentation.
Hello, students. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Students, I think you listened completely. You saw that video completely, and hope you understood what is PEP8. So PEP8 is a standard which talks about how to select the names for variables, constants, functions, modules, and packages. And we have three different styles: camel case, then Pascal case, and the snake case. So when to use? Okay, so that's the main thing. And also I think you observed that the thin difference that is there between a module and a package. Students, can you tell me what is the difference in selecting the names for modules and package? What is the difference? How you select names for packages and modules? What is the difference? Aishwarya? Aishwarya, are you here? Hello? Shruti? Shruti? Murli Krishna?
Sir,
Yeah, tell me. So what's the difference in selecting the names for package and a module? Murli Krishna? Murli Krishna? Shruti, you don't know?
don't know, sir.
Then what you are listening to? Huh? Did you listen to the video?
Okay, we can package is like okay modules, sir, so that we can access all the class.
See, first you should be clear about what is module and what is package. What is module? What is module and what is package? Can you give an example for module? Hmm? What is module and what is package? See, package is a collection of modules. But what is module? See, there are two kinds of modules. So user-defined modules and inbuilt modules. Say, for example, math is an inbuilt module. And if you write your own module that you can import in some other program, so that becomes user-defined module. So when I say a module, it contains some functionality, isn't it? If you want to use those functionality in your program, then you have to import the module. Then when it comes to selecting the names for modules and packages, so in both the case we use lowercase characters and short words. Okay, but the difference is that here in case of module, the names are separated between underscore. That means we use the snake pattern in selecting the name. Okay, short words but separated with semicolon, separated with underscore. Whereas in case of package, all the words are lowercase, short, and they are not separated with underscores. That means we don't use underscore while giving a name for a package. So that is the only one small difference between package name and the module name. So that you have to understand. Then tell me, so which case you select for variables? Whether you select camel case, Pascal case, or snake case? What is your choice for variables? For normal variables, how you select the names? What is the naming convention for selecting normal variable names?
Sir, snake or camel?
So snake is preferred. So even though some people will use Pascal case, so always it is better to go with snake case. Okay, so what about selecting the methods?
Sir, camel case?
Sir, snake.
See, if you look at the Java programming style, so there even not only in Java, even in JavaScript. So here, if you take any method, it will be having two names. Okay, say for example, insert element. So first part is the insert, second part is the element. So where the second part begins with the capital character. So usually programmers will prefer that one, especially when they are coding in JavaScript or Java. But when it comes to Python, so once again, you have both the options. So you can use both, as you told. You can go with, what's that, camel case, or else you can go with, what's that second one is? Second option, snake case. So in that video, he was telling about snake case. Yes, that is also okay. But so when a programmer is making a shift from Java-based programming to Python programming, then obviously he will rely on camel case. So whenever we write any function, so we assume that it contains two parts. So most of the times, like if that function contains only one word, like add, so then obviously you can write everything in small case like add. So when it is add element, so where the function name is divided into two parts, add and element. So there you can start that second part with capital, or you can leave one underscore between the first part and the second part. So therefore, when it comes to method names, always you have two options. So one is snake case and another one is, most popular one is camel case. So most of the people who write functions in JavaScript, Java and .NET, usually they prefer camel case. Okay, so while writing the methods, if you are using camel case, that is also okay. And if you are using snake case, that is also okay. That is to use underscore between the first part and the second part, and all the characters are lowercase characters. That is also fine. So what about selecting the names for class? How you select the names of a class? I think that is common in C++, Java and .NET. So usually we follow that. So the class always begins with capital character. So then if it contains multiple names, we follow Pascal case. While selecting the class names, we follow Pascal case. Say for example, the name of the class is company employee. So the name can be divided into two parts, company and employee. So if you're selecting that as a class name, then C capital and E capital, and in between no spacing or no underscore. So therefore here we are using Pascal case, company employee, C capital and E capital. What about constants, students? How to select constant names? Say for example, so you are dealing with the array, so you want to define one constant variable, max length. So how you will type that max length? Maithili, how you select a constant name? Maithili, Benita?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Maithili, tell me, how you select the constant name? All the characters.
Sir, all caps with underscore.
Yeah, all okay. Say for example, if it's a single word like pi, pi, so both are capital characters. So if it is a double word constant like max length, then max underscore length, where all the characters are capitals. Like that, you have to select the constant names. Okay. So then we talked about variables, class, methods, modules, and packages. Yeah, that's it. Students, these things are very much important, especially when you write a documentation for your project. So obviously that you are going to do for your mini project and for your 6M main project. At that, so in that, in implementation chapter, so when you write a report for your project, there is a chapter called as implementation chapter. So in that chapter, you are very specifically supposed to mention the naming and coding standards that you are going to follow. So at that time, this knowledge will be very much useful for you to write very good documentation for your project. Then one more thing. So I'm going to ask one question, that is one innovative question based upon PEP8 in your third internals. So there will be one question that is innovative question. I think question number 7. So that is going to be on PEP8. In tomorrow's class, we will discuss the case study question. Okay, so we are done with the Python syllabus. So now, no notes, whatever the classes that are there, those are all those classes will be of revision classes. And tomorrow we are going to discuss about case study question. Okay, so now I'll take the attendance.